Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the premiere for our 10 at 10 video.
I'm Tim.
I'm Matt, and today's video is for July 26th of 2022. So this is the 10 new plants that are going on the website today at 10 a.m. There's actually going to be 20, but you'll need to sign up for the email to get the full list.
If you don't know about us, we're MrMaple.com. We're a mail order business in Western North Carolina, and we ship mail order plants directly to your door. We specialize in Japanese maples. We have over 1,000 varieties of Japanese maples. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and make sure you're signed up for our weekly emails on MrMaple.com. We add at least 10 new trees every single Tuesday. Today we're talking about 11 of the 20 getting listed today. So you can go on at 10 a.m. this morning, see the full listing of 20, or sign up for that weekly email. And when this video goes out, you'll also be getting an email that's got the full listing of 20, so you can get a little bit of a prep work done and figure out which trees you want to check out very quickly at 10 a.m. Because when you add them to your cart, they don't hold them for you. So make sure you check out really quickly, because you'll want some of these really cool plants coming out today.
Hey, we're glad to have Tim back from fishing. Mine and Brian's backs are sore from carrying everybody this week. We got Tim back though from all his fun. We're gonna put him back to work hard this week with a 10 at 10. We've got some awesome plants lined up for you today.
The lineup today is pretty amazing.
I think we really hit it out of the park with this one. I mean, I hate to toot my own horn, but there's some heavy hitters coming back today. Now, as always, this is the lineup for July of 2022. If you're watching this video a year later, the size could be slightly bigger or slightly smaller, but this is very indicative of what we have in stock right now.
Let's start out with Will's Divine. This is sometimes called Will D. This is an amazing, amazing plant. I love this plant. It's a reticulated ghost type. And it can really, in the springtime, leaf out as almost like a brown veining with green. And then it can also get to some crazy colors of almost shades of almost blue-esque, like a blue-green. It's
a weird color pattern. It's one of the funkier reticulated types. I've definitely had it be so many different colors, from pink to like almost like a blue-green, like you're saying, like a faded. I've seen this tree listed before as Elmwood. Will D is the correct name on that, or Will's Divine. That would be the correct name on that, would be the original Will's Divine.
And the reticulation is always something that is insane in the spring. And whenever it can get some of that brown colors in there, it looks wicked, like that brown green. And then when it gets to that blue-green color, that's insane. There's not many other Japanese maples that can give that sort of blue-green reticulation to it.
Not one that reverts to. It may green up a little bit on you this time of the year in a heavy sun or heavy shade setting. Early morning sun, late day shade will give you your best color on this one. It's going to work zones 5 through 9. Giving it protection from that 3 p.m. on sun is typically going to hold the best colors for you.
Going to be a tree about that 8 to 10 foot in 10 years kind of size. And really awesome reticulation. Just really not a lot else like it as a plant that's really cool.
So hedge your bets here, people that like to bet on what sells out first. I've got Dragon Master back in stock. So ACER PALMATUM Dragon Master, Area 51 introduction here from MrMaple. This is our famous Weeping Yellow Ryusin. I find it to be my favorite of the Weeping Yellow Ryusins. It may be because I named it, but I think it's one of the brightest color patterns of any.
Now, we may list this on a high graft on our website because they're not really a low graft.
They're kind of right in between.
Most of these are grafted about that 5 to 6 inches range on these Dragon Masters. And so they're going to have to get listed as a high graft. But this is such a cool plant that'll just weep and cascade with some of those oranges to yellows on the colors.
You can really see on the one you have on the new growth that orange tint to it. This one, think of it as Ryusin times Orange Dream. It's a little more durable than Orange Dream, but just amazing colors. It really goes through some of those same color patterns of light orange shades, yellow shades, pinkish new growth with the yellow undertones. This one gets about as big as you stake it. It's an excellent candidate for patio or hanging basket because they're still a relatively low graft here, but...
And make sure to give it protection from the hot afternoon sun. This is a plant though that just gives you a lot of yellow out there in the landscape. You know how I love the yellows. They contrast so well. It's the greens and the reds and bring out all your other colors. This one does it with that weeping habit, and great for hanging baskets, containers, or if you stake it up and just let it cascade down like a fountain.
Awesome plant. They're one of our introductions here. You know, we call our introductions the Area 51 collection. It is a truly special plant. Might be the best plant we ever named here at MrMaple Dragon Master.
Great companion plant right beside of it.
Yeah, one you like to set near it here for colors.
ACER PALMATUM Purple Ghost. This is a plant that can give you some unreal shades of lavender purple to purple purple in the spring, depending on the environmental conditions. During the summer, we'll go to a little more maroon, then some green red, and then that reticulation of bright red in the summer with the new growth flushes just gives this Purple Ghost such an amazing color and makes it such an amazing plant.
Hey, if you're maple geeky enough to be watching a Mr. Maple 10 at 10, you know Purple Ghost. It's a classic Talon Buckholz introduction. Probably the most sought after version of the Ghost series.
Yeah.
Probably the most popular. That and Amber. Always does well for us. It's always a very popular plant because it's just amazing. It's got great colors. You probably know this one, but we always fight to get it back in stock. It is a complementary plant to everything. Put this near anything in your garden, it's going to look good.
There's no such thing as a blue Japanese maple, but there are purples. Check out our photos on MrMaple.com of Purple Ghost. Those photos are not Photoshopped. Those are really what this thing does. You will see some people have Photoshopped Purple Ghost to some unreal shades of purple. It will go to some unreal shades. Check out our website. We've got some amazing photos on there that are actually Purple Ghost in the landscape and garden. And a couple of them are the same tree in different years with lavender purple to that fuchsia purple. So amazing, amazing plant.
Hey, we'll keep moving along here. Another really favorite of mine. This one is an introduction by our friend Cor Van Gelderen at Esveld Plantinium. And hey, we did a full video on this one too. So check out our video on ACER Palmatum Ruben. Awesome plant. Make a lot of Ruben sandwich jokes in that one. But it is an exceptional plant that I think you're going to want in your garden.
Not the Ruben sandwich jokes again. This one has think of it as a flowering shrub that can give you some amazing pink color in the spring, because this thing is just unreal shades of pink. I mean, it can be baby pink to hot pink to coral pink, and in more of a shrub type form. I mean, it's not your typical upright. It's not a weeper.
Yeah.
It's definitely a dense, more shrub-like Japanese maple that
it's not weeping, but it definitely spreads out.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of spreading and low in its habit. You know, another thing I'd like to point out about this one, a lot of the bonsai guys get really hung up on DeSojo as like the quintessential bonsai. There's a lot of cool plants that are going to give you a similar style spring flush. Ruben being one of those, but with a very unique spring color and also a very small leaf. So this one's going to do everything you like about DeSojo, but in a small, compact form.
with more pink color instead of red.
Yeah, different colors too.
Completely different colors you don't get out of many other plants.
Similar in that spring intensity though.
Yeah, easy tree to train and shape, and it's very similar size on the leaf.
Awesome plant, a good candidate to guess for what might sell out first here, I would say.
So next we have Pinus sylvestris green penguin. We love this plant. Cool plant out in the landscape and garden. As this thing matures, it starts to get more conical and starts growing up more conically, and it looks like a little green penguin. Perfect name for it.
Hey, check out our video on green penguin. We've done one on this one as well. We're actually adding a lot of conifer content here on the Mr. Maple show. We'll be doing more conifer content soon. We've got some really good conifer gardens lined up to talk to you about. I first saw this one in Tom Cox's garden, and my eyes bugged out. I was like, I've got to have this plant. That was a long time ago.
It's great for most maple gardens because it fits in small
Yeah.
spaces, doesn't take up a lot of room, but gives you some nice evergreen content.
I love when a tree has a perfect name too, and green penguin really sets the tone for what this one does. Just a perfect little conical penguin in the garden.
It's a great plant to get kids into gardening.
For sure, for sure. And bringing back some evergreens. We liked it enough that it made the 10 at 10, even though it's super maple centric here too. So.
And being a Pinus sylvestris, that's native to a whole big part of the United States. This is a dwarf form, very dense, compact dwarf form. It can be very hardy and easy to grow for a lot of people because the straight species is naturally native to many of your ranges.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll grab this high graft here and we'll set them apart. So we actually have two different forms here, and check out our video on what's a high graft versus a low graft, but we'll give you a quick synopsis here.
And check out our video on emerald lace.
Right.
Because this is emerald lace.
This one's grafted high here, and Tim has the low graft emerald lace.
Right.
This is actually quite a vigorous weeping form. Super good plant here. Introduced by our friend Del Laux, who's named so many amazing plants. Lillian's Jewel was his grandson's introduction, but there's so many great plants from Del Laux.
Crazy thing is it was found in Charlotte, North Carolina by a guy named David Sabo and mailed to Dell, and Dell introduced it as emerald lace. And
I couldn't help but smile when I was at garden centers in Belgium. You know, being to Dell's nursery, and it's such a small backyard nursery when he was going. I mean, he named plants that are famous all over the world, but it was crazy to go, like, my friend named that, and I've been to his home, and here they are in garden centers in Belgium. But emerald lace is one you're gonna know all around. I mean, this is an amazing dark green that goes to a bold red in the fall. Quite vigorous for a lace leaf, but mostly in its spreading form. It's not going to put on a lot of height unless you stake it, but quite vigorous in width.
if you're familiar with Cereus, think Cereus but weeping. We're talking same leaf as Cereus. We're talking same heat tolerance as Cereus. This is perhaps the most heat tolerant weeping lace leaf Japanese maple out there. I mean, this one is super easy for people to grow, and it's got that nice weeping habit. It's got that green lace leaf to it, and gives you a good red fall color where things like Waterfall and Veritas go to yellows to oranges.
Again, this one's going to work zones 5 through 9 and give it protection in zone 9. And again, I want to reiterate, here's the difference here. We're going to offer these in a high graft. These are a little bit higher up. You get that standard look before it starts to weep down from there. Gives you a little bit more of a tabletop when it's young, but also some space to plant hostas or things below there.
And this would be a low graft, and this was basically going to start weeping at a lower point. You know, long-term size really isn't a big difference on this style of plant, but the main difference is where it's starting out right now. Because weeping low,
I find a lot of people who are going to a container will prefer the low graft, where if somebody has a lot of hostas or small heuchera they want to plant around this, maybe the high graft might be a good option for them.
Yeah, or if you've got a windowsill that you're trying to plant underneath, low grafts are great to start out as because it's going to be at a lower point for a longer period of time.
You can also stake these. I mean, you know, staking these will give you the height right away, and then you can just let them go from there.
What's that? Another one that may sell out really quickly.
Right. I don't know if I would hedge my bets on this. I have to clean up every plant I pick up. It's inevitable. But this one may sell out faster than Dragon Master. It's a run for which is my favorite introduction from MrMaple. Which is my favorite tree we named here? This one or the other? I'll let you introduce it though.
ACER PALMATUM Firefly.
Yeah. Always popular in stock. I don't remember if it was Tim or Amy that came up with the name on this one. We evaluated it for a long time.
I think it was one of those ones that was on our list from a long time ago. We would go into garden shows and we just make lists of cool plant names. And then when we saw this plant, we knew the name that it had to go with.
So I'll give you a little of the backstory on this one. We originally got this one from another nursery under the name Moonfire. And we went to the nursery, it's an older nursery, and we said, hey look, Moonfire's already in the trade. I think you mixed up a label. This is something crazy. Like, I've been watching it for 2 years now. The colors are nuts. And you know, we compared it to anything we could find that was like it, just like we were introducing.
We've got 1,000 varieties, remember, so we can compare it against a lot of plants, and it was unlike anything else. The reticulation is just unlike anything else throughout the seasons.
Yeah, we took our top 5 things to compare this to, and we're like, man, this is just blowing those out of the water. This looks nothing like this.
Turns out it wasn't a mislabeled plant. It was a plant that he had named, or that one of his friends had named Moonfire. But Moonfire is almost like
already existed in the trade. Yeah,
it's a red upright sister seedling to Emperor One, was introduced before this.
And our friend said, well, I haven't really got it out there in the trade. If you think it's worth it, evaluate it and put another name on it. So we actually watched it another 2 years. We got the working name of Firefly on it. We kept comparing it to other things, and we got confident that it was, you know, crazy in the color pattern. And we got it back out there in the trade under the name Firefly. So it never actually made it into the trade under the name Moonfire. But if you see somebody with the craziest Moonfire ever, you'll know the story about how it became Firefly.
Amazing plant though. We love this thing. The reticulation in the spring with a purple border around the edge is just unreal. Can give you some crazy, some apricot pink reds with purple border. And it's one of those plants you'll just keep going out through the season and taking more and more photos of because it looks good almost every part of the season.
I can say with good confidence that it's my favorite reticulated Japanese maple. It's hard to pick your favorite sometimes. Favorite in that category, I think, is Firefly. I haven't seen anything that beats it for me because it looks different in every single season, and every single season it looks really cool.
Oddly enough, Will D is one of those other plants that's reticulated crazy throughout the entire season, unlike anything else. So it's crazy that we've got 2 different ones that are just unlike anything else out there with the reticulation on this 10 at 10. I mean, this 10 at 10 is pretty special.
It's a good one, I think. I feel pretty confident this one, you know, another MrMaple introduction on this 10 at 10. So we've hit you with Dragon Master. Tim just introduced Firefly. Hey, let's bring back KRISTIN'S Star. So always popular. One of the best colored, spring colored maples you'll ever see. Think of this as the durable Akane. Neon orange in the early spring. Probably my favorite orange Japanese maple for spring color is KRISTIN'S Star.
This is was found by Bill and Kristen Taylor.
Shout out to them. If you were here at open house, a lot of people were walking around buying KRISTIN'S Star. And I'm like, hey, Kristen's right over there. Say hello to her on the way out.
And it was so cool. We'll have to do a garden tour of their garden because
amazing.
We ran around there and just were taking tons and tons of photos. That's where our original photo of Jermaine's gyration came from. But amazing, amazing garden. But KRISTIN'S Star is a short, dense, just amazing colors throughout the entire season. It's basically everything people want in an Akane, but it doesn't have that fungal issue that Akane has.
It tends to be a lot more durable. We've done Akane from time to time, but we always let people know it's a little bit wimpier of a plant. KRISTIN'S Star doesn't have any of those hang-ups, but for me, every bit the color. They can easily get a little bit more greener this time of the year. We're actually here in July again when we're shooting this video. New growth will still be a bit orange on top of that as it gets those new growth flushes, but super durable, super colorful. Another good candidate for bonsai. You know, pair this one Ruben. I actually mentioned that in the Ruben video. Pairing KRISTIN'S Star and Ruben would be two dwarf, similarly shaped trees with
oranges and pinks.
I mean, two of the most intense spring colors to pair together too.
Yes.
So if you're looking at two trees to save money on a box there, hurry and pick it up quick. But KRISTIN'S Star and Ruben, I think, are a heck of a tandem.
And KRISTIN'S Star, the original one probably has, what, a 5-6 inch caliper. It's not much bigger than 4 to 5 feet, probably about a 6 foot spread. I mean, amazing dwarf plant with some amazing colors.
For sure, for sure. All right, we've had some requests for this one to be back too.
So next up, we've got ACER palmatum Hubs Red Willow. Some people will get this confused and put Hups. It was an introduction by the Hups family that does conifers that introduced Hups dwarf.
Good friends with them too.
Yeah, this is Hubs Red Willow. It's actually an introduction that's credited to Dick Wolf at Red Maple Nurseries.
Check out our Red Maple Nurseries videos, part 1 and part 2 for a great history of Red Maple Nursery.
It's a nice red linear upright, good strong grower, and just really gives you that red bamboo type-like feel.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Tim and I are sticklers for nomenclature. We like to get that right. You will see it incorrectly listed as Hups because of Hups dwarf. Hubs Red Willow, though, one of the quintessential linear Japanese maples, and some great sizes on these right now in our 1 gallons. You'll see they're quite beefy for a good size one.
Good, strong, vigorous plant. Gives you some good relic color out in the landscape. Great to pair with some of these yellows, pinks, and oranges to give you some nice texture as an upright tree. Open, airy feel because of this thin, thread-like linear leaf.
We got to keep going, man. We got a 10 at 10 to catch here. These videos get long. I appreciate everybody checking us out with the 10 at 10 videos. They're quickly becoming some of our most popular videos we do every week. And I'd like to give a shout out to our international community. I know we can't ship to you, but shout out to you for watching. There's so many fun people that chime in and let us know where they're watching from all around the world. And that just means a lot to us. It certainly makes us feel special. So we appreciate you taking your time to watch our video.
So this is a really cool plant by one of our good friends, Jason Stevens in Raleigh. This is a plant called ACER palmatum
Wildfire. Wildfire is kind of fun in that it gets more bright the more you go up the bark. It'll actually have yellow at the base, orange in the middle, and then often red to dark red tips at the top. I find it to be one of the more colorful coral bark varieties, very durable grower, and some excellent kind of almost orange to red fall colors some years too.
Yeah, you want to give this some sunlight to peak up the bark colors. If you put this in deep shade, you'll get yellows to orange on it, but you give it some sunlight, you get those yellows to oranges to reds on the tips. The fall colors though are just unreal too, with some yellows to oranges to reds in there. So it really gives you that wildfire throughout the season on the bark, from the yellows to oranges to reds, to even doing that in the fall color with some yellows and oranges and reds in the fall color.
It's a hard one to caption with photography, but it is one of the coolest looking winter interest plants we do.
I think when people get this, you start seeing the posts all over social media over wildfire because they love that fall color. That bark can't really be captured by photography as well, but to the eye, this is going to be one of your plants that you just love and enjoy out there in the landscape.
I always try, but I find it looks cooler in person than it ever does in my pictures. But it's just a really fun plant and a good grower. We've actually got some great sizes in these too. There's a few of these that are even beefier than these here.
If you've got any good photos of your bark or wildfire, post it in the Mr. Maple Friends group on Facebook. We'd really appreciate it.
Yeah.
They're really hard to capture. So next up, we've got BENI HOSHI, or also known as Ruby Stars.
Love BENI HOSHI, another Del Laux introduction. We talked about Emerald Lace and how he was famous for that. Ruby Stars, another one he did that goes all over the world. And
also, his cousin was the Olsons. And this is one of their introductions they sort of shared together.
Yeah.
And cool little red dwarf with that Aminum style leaf. I like it because it gives that brick red color in the spring instead of going to that typical red color. You get a little more of that brick red color. Sometimes cherry red than that brick red, but this is a really cool dwarf that fits in a lot of small spaces. Doesn't get too tall, but stays fairly compact and kind of narrow.
Each leaf kind of has a little yellow veining to it when it leaves out. It gives it a little something extra, kind of gives it a casting over the whole plant with some unique colors. A nice compact dwarf though, a great candidate for the container garden or conifer garden. and just a wonderful small plant that's going to look great in your landscape.
Thing I love the most about this plant, ruby stars. It's ruby now, but in the fall, you really get some nice yellows on this plant. So it's a red that goes to a yellow on a dwarf. So it's one that's going to stand out, be very special, very different. And so ruby now, but in that fall garden can really give you that yellow star-like
It's quite
color.
shocking when people see the difference. I think it catches people off guard that it went from such a dark red to such a bold yellow orange.
Really, really cool plant. We like it a bunch. And this is a pretty cool lineup. There may be a Japanicum large leaf selection on this, but you're gonna have to check out the email or go to MrMaple.com at 10 a.m. to find out. So we've definitely got a cool assortment of amazing plants.
We actually even put 11 on here today, so
11.
Big lineup. But there's going to be 20 trees listing at 10 a.m. on Mr. Maple today. Don't forget to check that out. Some of these won't last long. We do have decent numbers and everything, but a lot of things sell out quickly. So remember, if you add them to cart, it doesn't save them. You do have to actually check out.
You got to remember, there are 40,000 people on our email list who get this. So there's a lot of people who love these plants just like you do. That means you got to act quick. We put as big numbers on these as we can because we want to get as many of these out there to your gardens as possible. We work hard.
We're collectors at heart, so we like to make it as easy as possible. You know, people often ask me, hey, when's this going to come back in stock? And I tell them, it's no shock that Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern are when we load our cool plants. If we're loading sets of it, it will definitely be at a Tuesday at 10 a.m. And get prepared then. That's when all the cool stuff comes down the pipeline. We greatly appreciate you watching. We greatly appreciate your support. We're still doing a giveaway with hashtag Japanese Maples. We're going to be giving away some gift cards with that. So stay tuned for the announcement for some winners for those gift cards. But you can continue to participate under every single video by putting in hashtag Japanese Maple.
So before we go, what's your favorite maple on this table? Or favorite plant on this table?
It's hard. I'll say that it's definitely either Wildfire or Firefly. Oh, excuse me, Dragon Master or Firefly. Those are my two favorites. Slight edge to Dragon Master, maybe slight, but I don't know. I don't know. I could pick Firefly any given day of the week over Dragon Master, but both those are 1A and 1B, maybe even like overall, if you said, what are my favorite maples out there? And then I have to put Makawa tops in too, but these would be in my top 5. I can tell you that. Even if I just pick top 5 maples anywhere, anytime, Firefly and Dragon Master would be in my top 5. What do you got?
I still got KRISTIN'S in there with those two. Because
it's a good one. But what's your one favorite?
My one favorite. You chose 2. You can't just put me down to 1. I'm choosing 3. Firefly, Dragon Master, and KRISTIN'S because I can't narrow it down past that. But then you've got things like Purple Ghost sitting here on the table too that are just amazing, and Wildfire. I mean, just some amazing plants on here with Will's Divine. I mean, the 10 at 10 this week's a rock star 10 at 10.
I think it's a good one. We greatly appreciate you tuning in. Let us know what your favorite tree is in the comments section below. You can always joke and let us know what you think is going to sell out first. Also, let us know where you're from in the comment section below. And again, greatly appreciate everybody watching.
Take care.
God bless.
And have an awesome day.